Good morning. Being 10:30 on December 12th, I'd like to call this meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission to order.
Man, I did it for you.
Please remember to turn off your cell phones and put them on vibrate. Now I would like to ask Mr. Dean Savoy to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Seat A, Chucky Sherman here. Seat B, Perry Gisclair absent. Seat C, Chris Godet.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Gisclair.
Here.
Seat E, Curtis Pierce.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Mellison.
Here.
Seat H, Jimmy Guidry.
Here.
Seat I, Randy Adams.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, we're going to move on to approve the minutes for the November 15th, 2018 regular meeting. I need a motion. Moved by Randy.
Second.
By Larry. Any discussion? Public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Executive Director's Report. Mr. Chasson.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chairman, Vice Chairman today, Vice President. Mr. Gisclair is unable to be here today. He's having surgery, so we keep him in our prayers today as he goes through his procedure. He certainly wishes he could be here instead of there. First on my report is the Northern Expansion. Northern Expansion Slip C, 1,671 foot east bulkhead, PCO and Associates.
Yes, Crosby Dredging is the contractor. They are substantially complete with the project. All the punch list items are complete. The project looks good. We do have a final balancing change order on the general agenda for approval. It's a decrease of $97,998.
And there's 3 days as well.
Well, we also given them 3 extra days, but they were late on the contract.
Right, okay.
Overall.
All right. And that project, just since it's final, we just wanted to announce the final numbers. That's total of $11,144,395.95 project. The majority of that, $9.2 million, is funded by DOTD Port Priority Program. The rest is funded by the Port Commission. Okay. Northern Expansion Slip C, 1,671 foot east sweep dredging.
Yes, this is the dredging portion of that project in front of that bulkhead. Magnolia Dredge and Dock is the contractor. We gave them the notice to proceed on November the 5th. They've been working steadily. Last week they were down with some mechanical issues, but they did start dredging again on Monday. They are approximately 40% complete at this time.
Are those the gentlemen working 24 hours a day?
They are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So they should meet their completion date?
They should at
All
this
right.
rate,
Thank
barring any mishaps.
Yeah, understandable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Joe. Okay, mitigation dredge of Slip D. J. Wayne Plaisance Engineers. John.
This project is complete. On y'all agenda is the clear lien certificate and approval of the final payment.
And this project, since it's final, just wanted to announce that as well. Final project of $1,648,392.46. And that was a Greater Lafourche Port Commission fully funded project.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to airport projects. Richard.
Okay, operations for November, 2,355 operations, 11,382 passengers, and 18,121 vehicles counted for last month.
That's great. Okay.
Airfield drainage improvements, Mr. DeBro and I have a meeting with DDG on tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, at 8 a.m., and we'll continue working on that project, and we'll get you guys further updates down the road on that as we learn more.
Okay.
runway approach easement. We've sent the required responses to the FAA regarding this property. We're waiting to hear back from them. We don't expect to hear anything back until after the holidays. That's it, unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, now we're moving on to Airport Access Road Culvert Improvements, Piciola and Associates. Joe.
Yes, we bid this project in September. Byron Talbot was the low bidder. We did have a pre-construction meeting with them. They have been ordering material. The big box culverts, concrete box culverts are on order. We're going to give them a notice to proceed to kind of coincide when those culverts come in because they are the key component of the project. We expect to do that probably sometime early in January, so they'll get started.
All right. Any questions? Okay, LA 308 Airport Access Improvements. That's a Lafourche Parish government project that we partner with them.
Yes, Beverly Construction was the low bidder. They're the contractor. They started on November the 12th. You can see they've been working on drainage work, and they're excavating the road and putting in embankment material. They're going to be continually working over the next 2 months to do that. There are some slight delays for traffic getting by, but for the most part, it's going pretty smooth.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Moving on to other projects. Our Section 203 feasibility study, GIS engineering. Dustin.
Thank you, Chet. Dustin Marble with GIS. As reported on Monday, our IEPR is wrapping up. We got notice yesterday that the panel found acceptable 9 of the 10 responses that we provided to them, with 1 outstanding, and they were generous enough to give us some bonus feedback as to what would resolve that 1 outstanding comment. So we expect to wrap that up today, and by the end of the week, them issue a final report with all the comments closed, and then the outstanding action is to incorporate all these reviews that have been going over the last 2.5 months into the report, which has already been ongoing, wrap it up, package it, and send it over to the ASA in the early part of January.
Okay.
So things are looking favorable to the outcome. So.
Yep. We're very fortunate on that to have last week a group from headquarters, Coast Guard headquarters, and not Coast Guard, I see Coast Guard right in front of me. Thank y'all for being here, by the way.
The Corps.
From the
Corps of
Corps.
Engineers, the division
division.
in Vicksburg, and the district in New Orleans.
As well as a
And the
representative from the ASA's office.
Yeah, correct. So we had a really good meeting about, the reason why they came is because we're ready to submit that 203 feasibility report very soon. So a really good meeting.
So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. LA1 Phase 2 Leeville Mitigation Dredge Project. Angela Piciola.
Yes, the contractor on this job is Magnolia Dredging and Docks. This project has been finished a long time as far as the access, but they did do some damage to the marsh on the ConocoPhillips property. They're in there repairing it now, finally, and they should be finished with the area next to the Boudreaux Canal today. We have a 1:30 meeting with DNR, ConocoPhillips, us, and I'll be there in the port to look at it to make sure they got that section correct. Once they finish that section, they're going to move over to where they have the 2 little wells on the east-west canal. They have a little damage there, and that'll take a couple of days, but hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be all finished with them.
And just to be clear, that's work that they're doing because of when they were out there doing the work for us, they did some things they probably shouldn't have done, so they're fixing that, so we're not paying for that.
Right, it was the marsh buggy
Right.
went out of the area they were supposed to,
Right.
and that damage is what they're repairing now.
Right. Okay, any questions? Okay, and the Fouchon Island saw borings.
Right, the soil borings are complete. This give us some preliminary data. We're working with the administration to come up with a few little scenarios and ideas of cost and where we're going, permitting and stuff. So that'll be ongoing, starting now to the beginning of next year.
All right. Derby Collins Marina Boat Lift Extension. J. Wayne Plaisance Engineers.
The contractor on this project is Gulf Island Services. They have mobilized, they started driving piles. The construction's going along pretty well.
Okay. Any questions? All right, and the public boat launch bulkhead repairs.
The contractor on this project is Plaisance Dragline. They have not mobilized yet, but they should be there this week or next.
Okay. I think we have some more pictures on the public boat launch just to, Dave, if you want to talk about
Yeah,
that.
this is some funding we have in next year's budget, so we're trying to get ahead of, on our pricing. We're going to quote on actually wrapping and concrete pouring the piles that are about 40 years old. But what's in the ground is still good, so there's a system where you can save money and not have to replace it. We'll try to get pricing on that, as well as along the deeper water areas, we will have to replace because the piles are in riprap, so we can't wrap those and cement them, so we're looking to get quotes to replace these piles on the fishing walkway area near the handicap.
So if you go out to the public boat launch and you see all, the wharf is pretty much gone, it's just, okay, we're going to replace it, we just need to fix it, so.
Right, we'll try to do them at the beginning of the year, so
Yeah.
we'll be ready in the springtime when most of the people are out fishing.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, CCTV Slip B camera and equipment project. John.
We are still receiving equipment for this. April and Joe are meeting with tenants currently to review the final design for MOUs.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, John. And the Bell Pass structure repairs, Davey.
Bell Pass structure repairs in-house. I've got to put some final details together, and we're going to get some local contractors to quote on removing what's there and also doing some upgrading and making sure the structure is capable of handling the new, I think, 60-foot tower that they're going to be putting on this structure in the back.
Okay. Any questions?
We're not replacing the pilings, we're just doing some topside repair?
Correct. The steps, we want to make sure the steps are in good shape as well as the rails around because they're removing some solar panels. So, you know, I'm going to have to get them to add some of that before the new equipment comes on.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Okay, that wraps up the projects. We have an update from the LA1 Coalition. Henri is at meetings today in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, so he has a couple sentences for me to read for him, so I'll do that. So he's continuing to work on the funding plan for the build-out of the Phase 2 project, which will involve state funds, federal funds, industry participation as well. When it comes to LA1 traffic, it's been flat here recently with the last year, over the last 3 months. There was a slight increase in October, and then kind of just stayed flat for the last couple of months. So that's what's going on right now. It's kind of slowing down a little bit, but we're keeping at it on the LA1 elevated highway project for sure. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to public comment. Before I kind of ask others in the audience if they have any public comment, I just wanted to mention that Thad Angelos, our new communications and grants manager, has been doing a good job trying to get the word out and doing some different things with our Facebook posts and Twitter posts. So currently, right now, on a daily basis, we just started this actually this week. We're putting out the Port Fourchon weather information. We're getting that courtesy of WWL TV Weather Group, Mr. Carl Arredondo. So it's just a new feature that we're doing and trying to kind of continue to get the word out to the community and hopefully get more time with people seeing what's going on, both from a daily standpoint as well as different projects and different things that we're doing on a regular basis that a lot of people don't see because they're not in Fourchon or at the airport every day. So we're excited about moving that forward. Thad, our newest member of our staff, is doing a good job already. Hit the ground running. If you don't have any questions on that, we're public comment. I know some folks from the Coast Guard here. We don't want to call you out, but if you have any comments or anything that you wanted to say, you're welcome to do so. If not, that's okay. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Lieutenant McCombs. I'm out of the Marine Safety Unit in Homa. I just took over this summer for incident management. So first meeting, just coming to see.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you coming here.
All right. Any other public comment? Okay. Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chasson. Moving on to committee reports, Executive Committee members are Perry Gisclair, Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chucky Shermy, John Mellison Jr., and in Mr. Gisclair's absence, I'll be presiding over this committee. First item is consider approving an extension to the Executive Director's contract.
Okay, all this is, gentlemen, is there's a period of time, my current contract ends on December 31st, so the period of time until my new contract gets approved by the new board at our next board meeting in January. So this just fills that gap of time till January 7th, till the new board officially takes their seat. So-
Okay, moved by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes. Our next item is to consider approving the request from Neighbors Offshore to assign lease to Crosby Tug Site GLF 347.
Okay, we've been discussing this for a good period of time now. Bryce has been working on that, so.
Right, so this is one of the sites in the East Lip that Neighbors currently occupies. They want to assign it to Crosby Tugs. As y'all are aware, the two issues we had outstanding with Neighbors was some bulkhead repairs they needed to conduct, and there's also a rig that needs to be removed. The Crosby and Neighbors submitted an assignment document for our consideration. The only two things that need to be addressed in the document is one, we need to put a time frame on their repair of the bulkhead, and two, we need to make sure that Neighbors remains responsible with Crosby to make sure both bulkheads are repaired and the rig is removed. So I sent those concerns to them yesterday. Haven't received any feedback yet. Because they're shooting for a January 1st, 2019 effective date, I would ask that y'all approve the assignment subject to those two issues being resolved in there. And that way, I would assume that we can work that out. Once we do, we can sign off on everything and they can move forward on their effective date, January 1st.
All right, I need a motion.
We have
Moved
a
by
date.
Mr.
Wait,
Pierce.
take a hang on.
We have a target date.
Wait.
Oh,
We take a motion and second, then we have
Moved by
discussion.
Mr. Pierce.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mellison. Discussion.
We have a target date in mind of removing that rig?
So removing the rig, their target date's March 31st, 2019, on or before March 31st. As far as the bulkhead's concerned, I asked them to provide a timetable, and we would evaluate to see whether it's reasonable as far as we concerned.
So what happens if the rig's not moved by then?
If the rig's not moved by then, that would be a default under the lease.
Okay.
So we go through the procedure of terminating the lease.
Yeah, because I know it's been there a while, it's gonna be
Correct.
hard to move.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
And how much dock repair, is there a lot of damage or?
It's actually recoding, blasting, painting, recoding.
Okay, just upgrading,
It's,
Right, not
It's-
necessarily damage that was caused by a certain
Right.
event.
right.
it's typical type.
Typical. And listen, if they don't comply, it's, the port's position is to take their lease from them. We'll deal with the rig, we'll deal with the bulkhead, they would lose their lease. And then
sir.
they would be responsible through litigation for the other parts.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to look at the bulkhead too after the rig's removed. I guess it's not a can rig, it's a can rig, it's not a mat.
It's a mat rig.
Okay,
Yeah.
Should be no
It's a
trouble.
lot of surface there.
Yeah,
Just
it
for
is.
curiosity's sake, how long has it been there?
That's a hard question.
More
That's
around the ball, you know?
About a year.
No.
We're talking
That's
10,
yeah,
at
at
least
least.
It's 12 years I'm not working in Fouchon, 13 years I'm not working in Fouchon. I want to see the rig's been there.
Mr.
been
Griffin
there.
can answer that question. Come on, Mr.
It's not
Griffin,
as
long
Because he's
time.
old.
Long time.
It's not as long as the rig.
It's probably pushing 15 years at least.
Wow.
That'll be a job.
The other one's over 20.
Any other discussion?
No.
So I would
Public?
presume, I would, just to add a comment, I would presume there's could be a lot of settlement on top of that mat.
They said it's gonna be a
Absolutely.
problem, yeah.
They know it, they know it.
Yeah. All right. Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item, consider approving the loop pipeline servitude on airport property.
So there's a different alignment for this new pipeline that they're putting in, so we need to approve that new servitude for that pipeline. So,
All right.
And I would just mention that this was on account of our concerns, so Luke was very helpful in addressing those concerns.
All right. I need a motion.
I move.
Moved by Mr. Shermy, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And this concludes the executive committee. Next, for the record, I'd like to notate that Permits and Waterways Committee, chaired by Mr. Chucky Shermy, Larry Griffin, Perry Gisclair, and Curtis Pierce. There's no items on the agenda, so I just wanted to notate that for the record. Next is our Construction and Development Committee, which is chaired by Mr. Larry Griffin, and members include Perry Gisclair, Rodney Gisclair, and Randy Adams. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. First is approving the change order number 1 from Crosby Dredging for slip C 1,671 feet east bulkhead project.
Okay, so this project is, this change order is a deduct of $97,998, as well as removing 3 days of their liquidated damages because of we adding those days to their contract. So they were over on the contract, and so it's removing those 3 days from liquidated damages. Recommendation to approve.
All right, I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next is consider accepting the clear lien certificate from Crosby Dredging for the mitigation dredge of slip D.
Okay, this project is complete. Recommendation to approve the clear lien certificate.
All right. I need motion by Mr. Pierce, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That completes my report, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Next, we're going to move on to our Finance Committee. The members are John Melson, Jr., Chairman, Jamie Guidry, Chris Godet, and Perry Gisclair. Mr. Melson.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Vice President. We'll begin by consider approving payments of the November 2018 invoices and recognizing those over $10,000. And we'll begin with Magnolia Dredge and Dock LLC, $296,525.73. And that is for Slip C, Phase 3, sweet dredging. Item 2, Crosby Dredging LLC, $186,215.45. And that's for mitigation dredging of Slip D along with Slip C Phase 3 bulkhead. Item 3, Motorola, $63,840. Then that is for 21 mobile base radios. Item 4, GIS Engineering, $58,764.50, Section 203 Feasibility Study. Item 5, American Integration Contractors, $25,037.80, and that is for battery expansion at the Nerby Collins Tower site and camera maintenance. Item 6, Vision Communications, $24,992.42, and that is for internet, phone, and cable services. Item 7, Grand Isle Shipyard, $21,291.64. Excuse me, that's for contract labor for the FBO along with limestone for some of the port properties. Item 8, Johnson Controls, $20,875, and that is for TWIC access and control maintenance and support. Item 9, Picciol and Associates, $19,984.63. That is for the airport access road culvert improvements. Slip C Phase 3, 1,671 linear feet of east bulkhead. Slip C Phase 3, sweet dredging, along with general engineering for the dredging permit. Item 10, Carasoft Technologies Corporation, $12,028.94. That is for Splunk enterprise support renewals. And last, we have CARC or CERC Incorporated Oil and Fuel, $10,680.72. And that's for diesel at the airport. That, along with our other expenses, brings us to a total this month of $1,762,000. I am not getting it today, Mr. Griffin.
One more time.
One more time. $1,762,512.89. And I'd like to make a motion, we accept these expenditures.
It is moved by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You want to talk about it took a while to land that one at the airport. Next, as discussed on Monday, and in your folders, we're going to make a motion to, we're going to consider approving the November 2018 unaudited financial statements, and I'd like to make a motion we accept these.
All right, moved by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have consider approving the out-of-state travel and training. We have Harbor Patrol Compliance Coordinator Scott Byram attending the Contemporary Legal Issues and Supervisory Liability Training in Mississippi, December 16th through the 18th. We also have Harbor Patrol Officer Brooke Angelette attending the RCTA Gracie Survival Tactics, along with other law enforcement categories in Mississippi, January 28th through the 31st. And last, we have Director Chasson and Communications Grants Writer Thad Angelos, with commissioners to be determined, to attend the Deepwater Topside Platform and Hull Conference in Galveston, Texas, February 5th through the 8th. I'd like to make a motion we accept these out-of-state travel and training requests.
Moved by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And next, we're going to be going over to consider approving the 2019 budget. We're going to be bringing up Ms. Parker. And you have a document in your folder, and you have the cover page, and it says FYI 2019. And when you open the page, the opening page is the first page, and then she'll go through the page numbers as needed from there. Ms. Parker.
Good morning. Okay, if you turn to page 1 for me, that's right after the cover page. I'm going to go over the summary at the top first. We'll start off with our operating revenues. This includes our lease revenue, dolphin revenue, and airport revenues. Our projected 2019 budget number is $29,121,839. This is about a $1.3 million increase from our projected 2018 ending number. From there, we'll deduct out our direct costs, which includes landowner expense and depreciation expense. That's going to be around $9 million, which is about a $182,000 increase from our projected. That will equal our gross profit for the year. Our budgeted number is $20,115,156, which is about a $1.2 million increase from our projected 2018. Deducted from that are our operating expenses for our operations, harbor police, and admin. This is coming in around $14,984,349. This is about a $211,000 increase from our projected. Added to that number is our non-operating revenues of $13,936,250 to give us a total net income of $19,067,058 for the year. Briefly also, I'd like to go through just how our budget is laid out. If you turn to the second page of the budget, you'll see our summary of our capital assets and our CIP. This is all broken down by department. And right after that, on page 3, is where we begin to break down each department's revenues and expenses in detail. And on the following page, page 4, we begin to break down each of our capital projects by department. And I think that Chet would like to go through some of that detail for us.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do is just to highlight capitalized projects and some of the assets, major assets that we're going to be purchasing if you approve this budget next year. So first on page 4, we have some dredging work that we would like to do. We've been talking about this for a little bit. It's about time to get it done. Some dredging a section of Bayou Lafourche on the northern side, going from north of the Seaport 1 to Flotation Canal, and that intersection. We're going to complete the Nervy Collins Marina boat lift. That's kind of bringing it over from this year, as well as completing the sweep dredging of the 1,671 feet. New project is 1,500 feet of bulkhead in Slip C, funded by majority port priority, and then our cost share. That's going to be, that 1,500 feet is projected to be total cost of $10.8 million, with 8.7 being port priority and $2 million being port commission funds. And then the associated sweep dredging with that project of $1.1 million total, with $953,000 coming from DOTD port priority and $223,000 coming from port commission share dollars. If we move over to page 6, this is some other, these are not capital projects, but they're construction projects that are expensed to our budget. You see we're going to finalize the 203 feasibility study, and we always put this in every year. We have $100,000 for highway embankment stabilization when and if the need arises, as well as $100,000 for bayou cleanup if and when the need arises. And then we can move over to page 7. There's a number of projects on page 7. This is probably the smallest font I've seen on a capitalized list of projects. So we'll kind of go through some of these. Just, we're continuing some of our northern expansion fill areas around Slip C. So we have all the work associated with that. We're going to do some work on Minor Jeremy Road. We're going to do some paving and some additional work to that road, so we can get some of that dust out of those new companies that are down there. We're going to work on the connector road between Adam Ted Gisclair and Minor Jeremy. There's a connector road there. We did some sub base on. We're going to look at doing some more work and some more fabric and stone there. Moving on, there's some planting that we're going to do in our mitigation area. Just wanted to kind of highlight that. It's a small project of $29,000, but still, as we do our mitigation, as we move along, and we're creating that marsh footprint to the north of the port to provide us some buffer, we do some planting here and there, so do some positive work for the environment. Again, moving on, boat launch pavilion, we're going to continue doing that, and we're going to look at designs and permitting for Fouchon Island work into the future. And we're going to do some more dredging in Flotation Canal and Slip D. That'll be a considerable project of $8.6 million, but that's going to do some mitigation for our development that we have. And then also down at the bottom of that list is a beach project. We need to do some work on that geotube project that we've done several years ago. There's some work that needs to be done so we can continue to protect ourselves on the beach project. So we'll move forward with that. Okay, on page 8, I just wanted to identify, people are always interested, and you are too, in some of the assets that we're purchasing. We're buying in total 4 vehicles, and we're gonna, be swapping out vehicles. 3 of those are police units, 2 pickup trucks, and 1 Tahoe. And the other one is an administrative vehicle for myself, which will then take the current vehicle you provide to me and put it in the pool for a larger vehicle for, maneuvering folks around, doing tours, or going on training trips and that kind of thing. And then moving on to, we'll skip through to page number 12 over at the airport. We have some runway approach obstruction removals that we're hoping to be able to do. That's going to be $100,000 worth, and that's obstruction removal is basically cutting some trees and that sort of thing, so we have better access to the airport. And then moving on to page 13, this is capitalized projects at the airport. We're going to do some terminal design for a new terminal at the airport we've been talking about for several years, as well as an airfield drainage improvements construction. Hopefully that would be a $266,000 project, with the majority of that being funded by the FAA, federal government, and the airport access road culvert improvements we've been talking about that'll go through. That's a $450,000 project, with $123,000 coming from LADOTD aviation section, and the rest GLPC share. So other than that, unless y'all have other questions about the budget, those are the highlights that I wanted to bring to you, and Miranda will take it the rest of the way.
On page 17, you'll see, I think it's important to note what our ad valorem is going to be for the year. And we're expecting a little bit less than what we got last year, about $40,000 less. It's coming in at about $3.8 million this year. So if you turn back to page 1 for me again, we'll go back to that summary, and I'll go over our consolidated statement of cash flows. We expect to end 2018 with approximately $105 million. To that number, you would add your net income for our 2019 budgeted number of $19 million. You also would add back in your depreciation expense of around $8 million, and deduct out our capital assets and capital projects. And we also take into account our deferred revenues, other payables, and other receivables. That gives us about an ending cash of $91.9 million, and from that number, you have to remember that at least $50 million of that is going to be dedicated to our Fourchon Island development. So we have an ending cash of around $41.9 million. And the third chart on the summary page gives us our expense budget totals, which our operating budget is expected to be $23.9 million. Our capital budget is going to be around 32.5, and our non-operating is 5.3, giving us a total expense budget of $61,914,475. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Parker? Ms. Parker, you and your staff did a wonderful job in presenting us this budget for this year. Mr. Chasson, I believe we move next to approve this budget, and I'd like to make a motion. We approve the 2019 budget.
All right, it's moved by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And last, we have consider approving the engagement agreement with Lafourche, the firm that audits the ports. finances. And I'd like to, we spoke about this on Monday, and I'd like to make a motion, we accept Laporte's audit engagement agreement.
All right, moved by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Sheremy. Any discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Vice President, this concludes the financial report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Melisson. Is there any other business?
Yes, we do have other business.
Okay.
Okay. We have some folks that this is their last official meeting, so we want to recognize them. And I'll just tell you the names. I think we know, but it's Mr. Jimmy Guidry, who's been on the board for 12 years. We have Mr. Chris Goday, who's been on the board for 6 years. And Mr. Randy Adams, who's been on the board for a few months now in replacement of his father-in-law, Mr. Vin Bruce. So I do have a statement from Mr. Perry Gisclair, who, again, apologized for not being here. So if y'all can bear with me, I will read that statement that he would like for me to read on his behalf. So, again, this is from our board president, Mr. Perry Gisclair. He says, although I am not able to be here today for the last board meeting of the year and the last of this board's term, I would like to take the opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to a few special people. First, I would like to thank our Executive Director, Chet Chasson, and the Port Commission staff for all of the great work that you have done. Every day you represent our port, our airport, and our commission with dedication and purpose, and I'm thankful to work with such a strong team. Second, I would like to thank our outgoing commissioners for their service and leadership. Mr. Randy Adams, it has been a pleasure working with you over the last few months. You did Mr. Vin proud during your time in his esteemed seat. Mr. Chris Goday, it has also been a pleasure working with you over the last 6 years, and I'm thankful for your insights and your interest in serving our community. Mr. Jimmy Guidry, it has been an honor to work with you over the last decade plus. Thank you for your service and your input to this commission, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Finally, to our incoming commissioners for the 2019 to 2024 term, thank you for choosing to be part of our Greater Lafourche Port Commission family. I look forward to working with you all and with projects like utilizing the $16 million bill grant to improve access to South Lafourche Airport, the Fouchon Island development, the Fouchon LNG project, and the push for deeper draft into Port Fouchon. I think we'll have a prosperous new year. I appreciate all of you and thank everyone who has worked hard with me, this commission, and the people of the 10th Ward to make our community a better place with a brighter future. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. So now I'd like to recognize individually the gentlemen that are rolling off of this board. So Mr. Jimmy Guidry, we do have a certificate for you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service, and you can, let's go out in front, guys, if we can.
All right.
We can take pictures with them individually. Have any words for us?
Oh.
Look, I'm gonna bring you the microphone.
No, it's just working with the board. You know, there's been something that I had never imagined in my younger years. But my time with the commission goes back a long ways. I put in right at 20 years as a police officer, first on the Harbor Police, which was I always enjoyed it. Good job. And then working with these guys here has been nothing but I got to know the staff a lot better after I got on the board here. And I realized how good a team, how great a team we had. So I thank all of y'all for y'all service and good job done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now it's Mr. Chris Godey.
Tom Royce.
I guess Lee could bring.
Watch.
Wait,
He's in the back.
I guess Lee could send those pictures.
I would like to first express my thanks and gratitude to all the commissioners, staff, and this great organization. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be elected to a public office. And I'm grateful to the community that elected me here for this term. It's been a very humbling experience and a great experience. And like I said, to be a part of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission, one of the most important groups and organizations to our community and also to our state and our nation. Because what this Port Commission does for our area is phenomenal. What we provide to this parish is, an economic engine at best. And, this staff and this commission continue to thrive. They continue to, build and expand so that this community can thrive for generations to come. And being a part of that for this last term, like I said, is an honor, that I can always carry with me for the rest of my years. And, public service is something I've always been a part of. I still currently serve on other public boards, and I continue to, serve my community in whatever fashion that I'm able to do. So to each and every one of these commissioners here, thank you for the time that we've had, the work that we've done. And to the staff, thank you for your professionalism, your courtesy, and everything that you've done for me to make this serving as a commissioner as easy as possible, and making us as commissioners look good in what we do. So my heartfelt thanks to everyone here today and to those in the public. And also I'd like to wish, the best to the incoming new members and to those that are continuing on for their next term. Great success. You continue to carry forward. And to Chet, it's been an honor to work with you. Thank you so much. And once again, I would like to, at this time, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
And Mr. Randy Adams.
First, I want to thank the Commissioner and Chet for giving me the honor and the privilege to fill out Mr. Vince's term. I've been involved in the port for years and years, especially with Davey and Chet. But I could truly say it's been a learning experience and things you don't see behind the scenes to get this port running. And what I could say to the new commissioners coming in, it's really your second job, and I'm sure you're aware of that. But for the people of the 10th Ward who pays the taxes to have this port, you can't entrust the airport and the port to find a group of people. You know, they're in good hands, the staff, from the commissioners to our executive director. You have the best here, and the growth of this port and the airport is phenomenal, and it can continue for years from what I see. I truly thank you all for that honor and privilege.
Thank you.
We don't have, well, yeah, we have a singer left.
You want to see if anyone might want to say something? You want to start?
No, I'm saying we're closing our meeting.
Okay. First, is there any other business?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Rodney, say what you...
No business, but, well, we aren't moving
We're
on to
gonna move on to
public.
public comment, so
Okay.
now I'd like to open the floor.
All right. You want me to lead off? Okay. First thing I'd like to do is recognize one of our harbor police for going a little bit above and beyond. There was a 92-year-old gentleman that had become disoriented in Fourchon, and he happened upon that gentleman was my father. He had lost his way. Scott Bynum ran across him right by the EOC and the Port Commission office, asked who he was, and took great care to direct him. He called me, he directed him, led him back up, took his time, out of his time off, because I think he was coming off duty, brought him up the road to where I could meet him, and got him safely home. I just want to recognize Officer Scott Barnum for going a step above and beyond.
Thank you, Sean.
Now, the rest, I'd like to thank Randy, Mr. Jimmy, and Chris for the time we've all served together. I've only been here 3 years, but it's been a great experience, and these gentlemen really came in and worked hard along with the rest of the commissioners and the staff. This staff is tremendous. They do a lot of things that they don't get a lot of thanks for, a lot of credit for in the community. So whenever I'm out there, I try to talk about the staff and what y'all do. So great job. And to end my Merry Christmas to everyone, to the staff and everyone here. And Happy New Year. Thank you.
All right, anyone else, public comment?
Okay, let's remember Christmas. The reason for the season is because of Christ. So as we celebrate Christmas, let us always keep him first. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everybody.
And I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with a grateful thank you to our exiting commissioners and a thank you to our staff for really going out there. And I want to let our voters know I really appreciated the voting confidence in getting me reelected. And I want to thank y'all too and wish everyone a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas.
I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year also, but I also want to let Mr. Randy and Mr. Jimmy and Chris know that it's been indeed an honor and a privilege to work with you guys. It's an honor and a privilege to work with all these guys, and I've only been here since October of last year. But the staff, the commissioners, the director, we're a team, and we work as a team, and we're going to continue to work as a team. I see good things happening for the port and for this community and for the people of the 10th Ward. We thank you so much for continuing to support us with your taxes. And when we go to find help in Washington or where other state, wherever it is, we represent you as commissioners, and your voice is being heard. So they really look up to the port. The port is a role model for many ports in this country. So we thank y'all for y'all support to us, and all of you out there. Merry Christmas again, and Happy New Year to you all. Bless your families.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Any
Anybody
other?
else?
We all done, waiting on you.
All right. Well, Mr. Jimmy, 12 years serving with you, it was a pleasure. I mean, it was good. Did working with you in Fouchon also before that. I gotta tell you, it was a pleasure working with you. I really want to tell you, Chris, same thing, 6 years with you. I gotta admit, it was very good to be working with you. Having you sit by me for the last 6 years was really good. I'll miss you. Randy, last few months, I mean, it was really good. I hope one day you're back here again.
Thank you.
But I would like to tell everyone, the staff, y'all do a great job. Me, I gotta admit, I had a rough year this year with my wife, but we're very good, and I got a lot to be thankful for, that everything turned out well for my family. But I would really, everybody enjoy, like Mr. Larry said, it's Christ in Christmas. You don't hear that too much from people, but it really is Christ. And enjoy it, and enjoy your Christmas, and hope everyone has a happy New Year's.
All right.
Mr. Vice President, I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Mr. Griffin.
One more thing. As I want to ask you all for your prayers. You might notice I can hardly talk. I was diagnosed with pneumonia yesterday. I didn't think I could make the meeting, but I made it. So right now I'm going home to bed. But keep me in your prayers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Before you do that, if I can make a comment, y'all thanking us, we want to thank y'all from the staff, from myself and from the staff. We work hard every day to try to make you proud and make the community proud. Without the support of the community, as y'all all said, and our customers, our tenants, the people that have actually stuck with us throughout this downturn in the industry, we really appreciate our ability to work with them on a daily basis. Without our community and our customers, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be able to do the things that we're doing every day. So I think I just wanted to say a note of gratitude to everyone with that. And we're looking forward, I know from a staff side, we're looking forward to another year and working hard and moving things forward to better our community. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Make a motion, we adjourn for this year.
It's moved by Mr. Sheremy, seconded by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion, public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And on behalf of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. This meeting is adjourned.